माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, कलका माता की जय, कलका माता की जय, कलका माता की जय.
Data Patterns offers Talon Shield Jammer for Su-30MKI. Data Patterns, a prominent Indian defense electronics company, has offered its advanced Talon Shield Jammer Pod for flight trials on the Indian Air Force's IAF Su-30MKI jets. This self-protection jammer, built with active electronically scanned array (AESA) technology, enhances the IAF's electronic warfare capabilities by detecting and disrupting enemy radar signals. The pod provides 360 degrees coverage with high Effective Isotropic Radiated Power (EIRP), ensuring robust protection for aircraft. Data Patterns is engaging with the IAF for no-cost, no-commitment testing, showcasing its commitment to India's self-reliance in defense technology and strengthening the Su-30MKI's combat effectiveness through cutting-edge jamming solutions. India's S-400, S-500 talks spark U.S. concerns. India's pursuit of additional S-400 Triumph systems and possibly the advanced S-500 Prometheus from Russia is straining its ties with the U.S., risking penalties under CAATSA. The $5.43 billion deal for 5 S-400 regiments, signed in 2018, has seen 3 units operational, with 2 more due by 2026 to 2027. Despite India's diplomatic efforts as a key Indo-Pacific ally, new negotiations could intensify U.S. concerns, especially amid trade tariff disputes and Russia's Ukraine conflict. The S-400's success in Operation Sindoor underscores India's need to counter regional threats from China and Pakistan, but further acquisitions may complicate its delicate balancing act with Washington. Denmark clears Tejas Mk1 apart for India. Denmark has lifted its export ban on a critical engine charge amplifier, a vital component for India's Tejas Mk1 program, following diplomatic efforts by India. This decision ensures resumed deliveries, easing concerns over delays in the Indian Air Force's IAF modernization plans. The setback, reported by The Print in March 2024, had threatened the IAF's goal of inducting 83 Tejas Mk1 jets by 2029 to address a squadron shortfall, 31 against 42. Meanwhile, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAN, is accelerating efforts to indigenize the charge amplifier through a Bengaluru-based firm, reducing future reliance on imports and strengthening India's self-reliant defense manufacturing. India develops stealth UCAV supersonic bomber. India is pushing forward with its homegrown unmanned stealth bomber as the Indian Air Force, IAF, and Indian Army show keen interest in a supersonic variant boosting a 4-ton internal payload. Stemming from the Defense Research and Development Organization's DRDO, Ghatak Unmanned Combat Aerial Vehicle, UCAV, program, this initiative marks a pivotal transition to autonomous, stealth platforms for deep enemy penetration. Evolving from the 2009 Autonomous Unmanned Research Aircraft, AURA, concept, the 13-ton flying wing design, now sometimes called Remotely Piloted Strike Aircraft, RPSA, aims to transform strike, reconnaissance, and SEAD operations. Amid rising threats from China and Pakistan, recent prototype scaling and tech integrations align with Atmanirbhar Bharat, eyeing service in the early 2030s. Indian Navy proposes 4 next-gen destroyers. The Indian Navy is advancing its modernization efforts by pursuing acceptance of necessity (AON) from the Ministry of Defense for 4 next-generation destroyers (NGD) under Project 18, P18. This initial procurement is part of a broader plan for up to 10 advanced warships, displacing 10,000 to 13,000 tons and significantly enhancing naval combat capabilities. As successors to the Vishakhapatnam class, Project 15B, destroyers, the P-18 vessels address a critical gap following the January 2025 commissioning of in Surat, completing the 15B series. With no destroyers currently under construction, this initiative counters rising geopolitical challenges in the Indian Ocean region, strengthening India's maritime dominance through indigenous shipbuilding. BrahMos missile eyes new deals after Sindoor. The Indo-Russian BrahMos supersonic cruise missile has emerged stronger after its pivotal role in Operation Sindoor, the May 2025 India-Pakistan conflict triggered by the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Deployed alongside drones and scalp missiles, BrahMos demonstrated unmatched precision and, fire and forget, reliability, destroying key Pakistani terror infrastructure and military sites, with debris recovered near Bikaner confirming its impact. This battlefield validation has ignited procurement interest, as revealed by BrahMos Aerospace's Russian Managing Director Alexander Maxichev in a TASS interview. He noted rapid negotiations, potentially yielding contracts soon, primarily from Indian forces but extending to foreign buyers. With an existing $7 billion order book, the joint venture is expanding production and eyeing BrahMos tests in 2026 to meet surging demand from over 14 countries. Why Bollywood's Indian Air Force films fail to soar. Bollywood's attempts to depict the Indian Air Force, IAF, in films like Gunjan Saxena, The Kargil Girl, 2020, and Fighter, 2024, often miss the mark, despite the IAF's rich legacy of valor and technological prowess. Key reasons include subpar CGI, over-reliance on music, and insufficient attention to detail. Aerial sequences, critical for showcasing IAF's might, suffer from dated or unpolished visual effects due to budget constraints and rushed production, making jet maneuvers and explosions appear unrealistic. Unlike Hollywood's Top Gun, Bollywood's CGI lacks finesse, breaking immersion. Additionally, excessive musical interludes and melodramatic storytelling dilute the focus on authentic IAF operations, failing to capture the force's grandeur and precision. India joins JHAPAR exercise in Russia. India is set to participate in the multilateral joint military exercise, JHAPAR, in Russia from September 10 to 16, focusing on boosting interoperability among participating nations. The exercise provides a vital platform for sharing tactics, techniques, and procedures in conventional warfare and counterterrorism operations. A contingent of 65 Indian Armed Forces personnel departed on Tuesday for the Mulino training ground in Nizhny, as announced by the Indian Defence Ministry. This engagement underscores India's commitment to strengthening defence ties with Russia and other partners, fostering collaborative responses to global security challenges amid evolving geopolitical dynamics. India calls for restraint after Israel strikes. India has voiced deep concern over Israeli airstrikes targeting top Hamas leaders in Doha, Qatar, calling for all parties to exercise restraint and prioritize diplomacy to safeguard regional peace. The Ministry of External Affairs, MIA, issued a statement hours after the Tuesday attacks, highlighting the potential escalation of tensions. We are deeply concerned by this development and its impact on the security situation in the region. We strongly urge restraint and diplomacy so that peace and security in the region is not endangered, the MIA emphasized. This response underscores India's commitment to de-escalation amid ongoing Middle East volatility, advocating for dialogue to prevent further instability. Trump aide criticized India's trade practices. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro stated that the U.S. does not require unfair trade with India, while noting New Delhi's desperate bid for access to American markets. His comments follow a series of criticisms against India, particularly over its ongoing purchases of Russian crude oil. On the same day, President Donald Trump announced that India and the U.S. are advancing negotiations to resolve trade barriers. Navarro's remarks underscore escalating tensions in bilateral trade relations, amid broader U.S. efforts to counter India's ties with Russia and promote fairer economic exchanges between the two nations. China's AI-driven propaganda sparks global alarm. China-linked information operations are harnessing generative AI tools to enhance content laundering, covertly disseminate state propaganda, and launch smear campaigns through fabricated social media personas, raising profound global concerns. As detailed in a Diplomat report, these tools enable tailored content in local languages and cultural contexts, particularly targeting youth on popular social platforms. This strategy aims to subtly foster trust in propaging narratives and shape the perspectives of emerging leaders in developing regions. By exploiting AI's sophistication, such efforts amplify disinformation's reach and subtlety, posing risks to democratic discourse and international stability amid escalating geopolitical tensions. India-Nepal border on high alert. Central agencies have placed Indian borders on high alert following 2 days of violent protests in Nepal, fearing miscreants could exploit the unrest to incite violence in neighboring states. Intelligence inputs warn that antisocial elements might use the turmoil as cover to damage public property and spark disturbances along the porous India-Nepal frontier. Officials emphasized heightened vigilance to prevent spillover effects, with security forces monitoring key border points closely. This development underscores the challenges of managing cross-border stability amid regional unrest, potentially straining bilateral ties and requiring coordinated diplomatic and security measures to contain the situation. Nepali students worried amid protests. Nepali students in India are postponing trips home and frequently calling families, gripped by fears for their loved ones' safety as violent protests engulf Nepal. The student-led Gen Z movement, sparked by a government social media ban, has broadened into widespread outrage against Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's administration and political elite, citing corruption and public neglect. Oli resigned after 2 days of massive unrest, coinciding with the lifting of the media ban late Monday. Protesters stormed government buildings, torched parliament, and burned leaders' homes, following Monday's clashes that killed 19. This turmoil highlights deepening youth frustration and instability in the Himalayan nation. India pushes UN reforms for peacekeeping. India has emphasized that UN peacekeeping operations require a reformed Security Council to gain legitimacy and effectiveness, reflecting current global realities. Speaking on Wednesday, India's permanent representative P. Harish highlighted the need for expansion in both permanent and non-permanent council seats. He noted that major peacekeeping contributors, like India, which has deployed the most troops globally, are excluded from permanent membership, undermining the Council's authority to mandate missions. This call for reform underscores India's push for a more representative UN structure to enhance the efficacy of peacekeeping efforts amid evolving geopolitical dynamics. Delhi Police, ATS arrests 2 ISIS suspects. In a coordinated effort, Delhi Police's Special Cell, Jharkhand Anti-Terrorism Squad, ATS, and Ranchi Police arrested 2 suspected ISIS operatives on Wednesday. The primary suspect, Ashar Danish from Bokaro, was apprehended in Ranchi. He was sought in a case filed by the Delhi Police Special Cell concerning an ISIS-linked module. This operation highlights intensified counterterrorism measures across states, targeting radical networks amid rising threats. Authorities are interrogating the duo to uncover potential larger conspiracies, emphasizing the need for vigilant interagency collaboration to dismantle extremist activities in India.